Joe in New York. Joe, you're live with Eric and Ethan. How are you doing today?
Hey, Joe.
Hey. Hi.
Hey, you've called in before, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I think we had a good conversation. I'm glad you called back.
Yeah,
So
well, this is something totally different, but...
Okay, well, what did you want to talk about?
I wanted to say that I don't think atheists are choosing to use common sense when they analyze evidence for God.
Could you give me an example of what you mean by that?
Yeah.
Well, for example, the idea that something can come from nothing.
Have we ever said that? Have I or Ethan said that before?
I haven't.
Well, when I say nothing, what I mean is...
I know, I get it, but I'm asking you if you've heard me or Ethan say that, because just like last time you called in, you're painting with a pretty broad brush. I'm happy to talk to you about the concept of it, but I want to be fair to everybody here.
Yeah, all right. So maybe you can be the first atheist to actually explain this to me, because
sure,
I've been in a lot of arguments with YouTube atheists who they don't make sense to me. I don't get what they're saying about the origin of the universe.
Sure. So let's talk about what the claim is, right? Because the claim is usually brought to us as God created the universe. And so we ask, okay, how do you know that? Now, there are a number of theists who will respond, well, if God didn't do it, then nothing did it. And how can you say that nothing did it? And what that's actually doing is that's taking the burden of evidence, right? If you're making a claim, if you're saying something happened and we ask you to show evidence of it, right? That's on you to do that. But the idea of flipping that back the other way is shifting the burden of evidence. So my question for you is that what's keeping you believing in a God? I mean, is the idea that you haven't talked to an atheist who has given you a different proposition? Is that what's holding you to the God belief?
Not entirely, no.
Okay. Would it change the confidence you have in your belief if we dissuaded you from this argument?
I doubt it.
So this sounds like really fun sparring, but it doesn't sound like it's going to get us anywhere. And I'm happy to talk about it. I don't want you to think I'm sloughing it off, or I'm not trying to shirk responsibility. There we go. Shuck. What the fuck am I thinking? But I also want to make sure that the time that we're spending together, the time that we're talking to each other, is beneficial for all involved. Like if you were to show evidence that your God belief, that your God created the universe, I'd listen. And if I was convinced, I would become convinced. And I would hope that you're coming in open as an honest interlocutor as well.
Yeah, and to kind of echo what Eric said, I can't speak for him or other atheists. There is a big part of me that still wants to believe there is a God and an afterlife. And the reason I think like that is, for instance, about 10 years ago, I lost my brother. I want to see him again. The idea of an afterlife where I get to get a hug from him again is like the best thought ever. But just because I want to believe, I'm not going to let my want supersede my need for the truth. So what evidence could you perhaps supply that would be more convincing to us?
I mean, for me, it's miracles that happen in people's lives.
Okay. So
I've had a miracle happen to, or more than one miracle happen to me, and I've heard of other miracles happening to other people.
Okay.
And I don't look at them as random coincidences.
Why not?
I see them as something that was orchestrated.
So I guess question. I'm trying the street epistemology approach with you because the way you came in, at least in the show notes, it sounded like you were atheists are doing this, and so I'm kind of trying to deconstruct a little bit here. If we were to kind of shift that view on miracles, would that change your confidence level when it comes to a God belief? I mean, going from 99 to 98.9 is still a change.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying from 100 to 0, just adjusting, changing.
And most importantly, don't you think it's, Joe, it's important to come to the table with an open mind and not necessarily close yourself off to other possibilities? Like, for instance, I'm not going to say God does not exist or God did not do this. Hey, if there's evidence for God, it will convince me. But wow, ADHD brain just went out the window. That happens.
No worries, man. No worries.
Can I just point out, holy crap, this is like the most nervous I've ever been. This is exciting. But holy crap, I'm sorry. I'm still trying to process that I'm not talking Heathen right now. So
it's okay, brother. That's really, really sweet. Joe, go ahead, Heathen.
It's important to come to the table with an open mind.
Yeah.
Good. Then that makes 3 of us. Cool. Okay, so then I know you wanted to talk about common sense, but it sounds like this conversation might be better served if we talk about miracles. Would you agree?
No, I kind of wanted to explain something about common sense.
Well, I'm worried that you're going to talk at a straw man of an atheist or some atheist that's in your head that you dealt with online. And I've definitely had people who've called in or written in and tried to use Talk Heathen as a platform to settle their Facebook and Twitter arguments. And so I want to make sure that we don't do that. So if you're not going to do that, I'm willing to listen. But if you feel like you might go into that territory, then maybe we can talk about miracles.
And to follow up on that, is there common sense that you specifically don't think Eric and I are using? Because then we could address that.
Yeah, mainly what I said before, which you guys seem to disagree, applies to you. That, something coming from nothing.
Okay.
So
to answer that, I don't know. I really have no idea. It's amazing. I have no, that we're here, but if you were to rewind time back to the instantiation of the universe, I don't know what happens at t = 0 or 2 = 1. I just don't. But I want to learn. What I think is when you make the God claim, I don't think you have the firepower to bring to the table to be convincing. That's the response is, we're looking at the God claim and just determining whether or not it passes muster.
Yeah, Joe. You believe God created the universe, correct?
Yeah.
So when you were looking into this and doing your research, how did you eliminate the possibility of, for example, aliens or something else creating the universe?
Aliens are like a finite thing, and God, to me, is this infinite. He's like everything and nothing at the same time. He's like this weird.
How do you know that?
Because that's like the only way that your mind can move into thinking if you think about the origin of everything, it has to come from something extraordinary.
I'm sorry. I don't understand that. Are you saying that I can't think about the beginning of the universe unless I believe in God? Maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah, just the whole, I mean, looking out at night at the stars and seeing all those stars and thinking about them all, and then in the microscopic universe as well, there's like so much going on. And the complexity of this universe
is amazing.
If it originated from something, it has to be from something that's even greater than it.
Why? Do you think something less complex can create something more complex? Do you think it doesn't go the other way around? Like if I created a machine, an artificial intelligence, to create better machines and have those machines create better machines, then theoretically you can have something less advanced creating more advanced things over time.
I don't think so. I think if it originated from you, you contained everything that's being multiplied.
Are you a parent, Joe?
A what?
A parent?
No, I'm not.
No? So I think that any parents watching are probably strongly disagreeing, because I'm sure there are plenty of parents who can tell you that their children have far exceeded anything they could have done, and they're very proud. I don't think that argument stands up. I think it sounds pretty, but when you put it into practice, I really don't think that holds water, dude.
Well, and Joe, what it kind of sounds like you're doing, there was one of the final argument that changed me from being a Christian to an atheist was when I learned I was saying, look at everything. I don't know what else could it be, therefore God. And that's the important part, is we don't know what created or birthed, however you want to define it, this universe into existence. So wouldn't you say it's more important to say, hey, I'm not sure what happened, but I'm going to keep looking at this with an open mind until I figure out what did happen, as opposed to just saying, I don't know or understand this, therefore God did it.
Yeah.
Well, I only see three possibilities for the origin of the universe.
Okay. What are your three possibilities?
A, there was an ultimate consciousness, like super intelligent.
Okay. What if I told you we could discount that immediately? We can kick that one out immediately.
I definitely would not believe you. But
okay. Okay, cool. Can you have consciousness without a brain?
Yes.
Show me that consciousness, please. See, that's the thing, is having your consciousness, right? That part of you that is you, that is an emergent property of having a brain. And that consciousness goes away when that brain stops working. And we see that to varying degrees, even with people who have brain damage, and how that changes their consciousness. And so to say there's a consciousness living somewhere out in the universe completely ignores the fact that consciousness is a body is required for it. A brain is required for it. So let's take the first of those options that you said and throw it out the window, because it is not possible. What are your other options?
I believe it is possible. I think that the brain is a seat of consciousness for the soul, for the spirit. And the brain has to be
Go ahead.
The brain has to be functioning and intact for a certain kind of spirit to inhabit it, and then the spirit will choose to inhabit it.
Okay,
And
so it sounds like you're bringing something new to the table, and I know that we're running a little long on time, and so I want to make sure that we have time for the other callers. But Joe, you just brought the spirits into the conversation. What is a spirit? How's that different from a body? What does it do? What qualities does it have? Can I measure it? Can I interact with it? Can I, does it look like something? Is it tangible in any way, or is it just an imaginary friend?
I think it has the shape of a human body in heaven, but
well, heaven we're going to have to get to another day, because we got too many new things coming in. But I don't think spirits and souls exist.
Same.
And if you do, then I would love for you to bring evidence for it, because like we said at the top of the call, we are having these conversations openly. We're trying to be honest interlocutors, and we have that expectation for our callers. So you have been kind. Your first call, your second call, you've been kind. You are welcome to call back again. I've got to tell you, man, when you came in last time, you came in guns blazing saying atheists do this. And we talked you down off the ledge, and you called in again this week and it was atheists do this. I want you to know I cannot speak for all of us, because a lot of us are assholes, but I think that's true of humanity. Yeah,
and it's, Joe, the one recommendation I would give, because I have made this mistake, and I'm sure I may make this mistake again, is when I have talked to some Christians, I'll bring in other things Christians have said and attribute to them. I shouldn't be doing that. I should be engaging with the person I'm talking to. So, for instance, find something you want to challenge us on, and then address that directly with us, as opposed to just painting a broad brush and assuming, we all think alike.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you for being my first caller on Talk Heathen, dude. It was nice talking to you.
Take care, man.
Yeah.
Talk to you next time.
Take care, guys. Yeah,
have a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.